Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from Jenny Card Designs. On this YouTube channel, we share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration. In today's video, I want to talk about scraps and all the little bits and pieces that we end up collecting when we're making cards and paper crafts, and I want to show you what I do with all of my scraps. I have this large 12 by 12 sort of sketchbook or scrapbook. I got this from the dollar store, and what I really like about it is it allows me to have creative freedom. I take all of my itty bitty scraps and I tear them up and I create these sort of masterboards. There are many things that you can do with these masterboards. I like to just create them while I'm watching TV, and I take all my scraps. Sometimes I sort them by color. As you can see in my work here, I'm allowing myself to just be creative without any rules, but sometimes I force myself to have rules because that's the type of person that I am, and I like to color coordinate. As you can see so far, I'm just flipping through my book, and what I like to do is skip a page. Every time I create something, I like to skip a page to keep sort of any glue or anything that still might be on that paper separated from the other project. This way nothing gets damaged, because I really just enjoy flipping through this book and looking at all of the things that I've created. And it may not be for everyone, but for me, I just really love ripping up my papers and gluing them down. It's just really satisfying and allows me to be, free creatively. So as we flip through, some of these are printables that I had from card kits that I had purchased, and I had leftover bits and pieces that I glued down. This has to be one of my absolute favorites. I love this color and I love those feathers. I just love this one. And then I have these sort of fairy spells. I have a few pages of this because I'm in the middle of working on a fairy book, and it's one of those things, where you have like 50,000 projects on the go that never get finished. My fairy book is one of them. So I eventually will come through and cut these up to put them into my fairy book, but for now they're just living in my scrapbook here. I also have some, little things that I've played with. I've made masterboards and then stamped on them. This one has little advertisements, and then one has a bunch of little stamps. And then we'll come to this one that I created. I'm going to make this one for you in today's video and show you a process and sort of how I get from start to finish. So really, the purpose of this video is just to show you how to rip up paper and create something what I think is beautiful. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but if you enjoy this sort of thing, let's roll up our sleeves and dive in. So I have a bunch of random bits and pieces here, some little envelopes, a bunch of little tiny pieces of ephemera, some washi tape, some stickers, and I've got some random 6x6 papers, a couple of 6x8 papers. All this stuff came out of a kit. It was like a little mini journaling kit, and I really don't have any other use for them. So I'm just going to rip them up. Except the 6x8s. These are like a textured paper. They're really pretty. I'm going to save those and probably hoard them for, the end of time, and probably keep that for forever. And so I'm just going to start. I have a glue stick. I have my 12 by 12 book. I have a ruler. I have a little glue spreader, and I have a little scrap text block from an old damaged book, and I just use that to glue on, so it helps me spread out my glue. And so I just start ripping. I try to create little pieces that I want to see together. I also grabbed some Distress Oxide ink. I thought this color really coordinated with the palette that I have. There's a really soft sort of purpley vibes going on. So I grabbed Distress Oxide Shaded Lilac, and I'm using that to ink the edges of all the papers so that when I tear it, any of that white paper isn't really showing. So I'm just going to ink up the edges, and then I will not even think really. I'm just going to start gluing pieces down. Once I'm satisfied with ripping, I'll start, gluing the pieces down and trying not to put the same thing in the same spot. I'm trying to spread it out throughout the page and, make sure I get it from edge to edge so that if I do decide to cut this up later, I'm not going to have any of that scrapbooking paper from behind showing through. So I'm just gonna zip through this and rip up all these pieces of paper and ink the edges and glue them down. And then let's just take a quick moment to enjoy this process, and we'll come back together in just a moment. All right, so I have the background fully covered, and I've got some washi tape here that coordinates with this stuff that I've got. And I just ripped up a couple of pieces and applied some glue stick on it and pressed it in. But it turned out that I didn't like the washi tape at all. I don't know why, but I just didn't like it. So I had these little things like checklists and little memos and stuff like that. And I just glued those down over top of the areas that I didn't like. Um, I, I don't really know why, but I did that. And I had a couple of little washi sticker postage stamps. I kind of wasn't happy with where this kind of went. I thought maybe I'll play around with a paint pen. So I grabbed this silver paint pen and I just started outlining all of the pieces. I'm not sure why. I just kind of played with it to see what I would end up liking, and this is the final result. So it's got a little bit of shine to it. Once I was done, I did end up taking a little marker to add some details, and I'll throw a screenshot up again of the final finished piece. I didn't show that marker sort of mark making in the video. That was an afterthought. So that's pretty much it. I just enjoy filling up the paper with random bits and pieces, and maybe I'll cut this up into something. Maybe I'll just leave it in my book. It gives me great pleasure just to flip through my book and see all of the fun things that I've created. All right, well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that maybe you found some inspiration for your scraps. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see some projects made from these masterboards. All right, coming up on screen are a couple of videos I think you may enjoy. Have yourself a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.